Alright, so this is just a quick video to go through those techniques that I listed in that WinstonMains subreddit post. Um, Basically, the main one is just short jumping, and this is like the most important of all of them. Say, let's do a regular one looking here and just did a regular jump, no input on where I'm standing. I can make a bubble there. And if I was to return to the same spot that's like around the pillars, but while holding backwards, I make it only about like half the length. It's not as far, and it's a lot easier for you to be controlled when you do it. You do have a bit of leniency in terms of aerial drift. So if I wanted to do a short jump and drift to the right, I can slightly course correct to around the range of like here to here. So it's just something that you should be ADAD spamming or something in midair, or just not spamming, but like making sure that you have a good control of it. Otherwise, what else did I go through? Bubble dancing, very basic. Say there's a Reaper like right, say here, and he's walking towards you. You want to make sure that as he enters the bubble, you're out of the bubble, and when he comes out of the bubble, you're in the bubble. So you're using your bubble to mitigate as much damage as possible. This is super essential for matchups like against Mei, against Reaper, anybody who has intermittent damage. So someone who goes pop, pop, pop. Someone like Reaper, Roadhog, McCree. It's a super important technique so that you can pretty much get away with taking no damage from an engagement with a Reaper, which can happen if you make the right reads. It's obviously something that you have to predict or like outplay them, or like make sure that you're not having like part of your body coming out, because then you will still take damage. Otherwise, I mentioned the super jump, which no longer works anymore. Apparently, it got patched and I totally didn't notice because I never use it. I'm trying to remember. Let me pull it up real quick. Melee animation canceling. It's a big way. It's not actually an animation cancel. It's a little misleading. Because for example, say if I was spraying the whole time, you're able to spray. Whereas if you see that there is a bit of delay. If I was to do a regular punch, you see how long it takes before I'm able to zap again. And this does carry on into the jump landing as well, so when you jump, you definitely do get that little bit of animation cancel as soon as you are able to get through it. It does apply a little bit of extra burst damage for when you're landing on somebody. It makes a lot of matchups a lot easier to win, and a lot less costly if you're able to get the up to 50 damage. Impact landing does like 13 to 50 damage based on how closely you land on them, or something like that. And then having the quick melee on top of that is just enough to chunk people to half, and makes just the time to kill when zapping them a lot faster. So it makes a lot of matchups super easy. If you do see someone low, you get to quickly just jump in and make sure that you do get the kill. That reminds me of a small thing, is that when you're jumping, you can jump right after and carry that momentum. So it does help you get a bit further rather than if you just stopped or walked right after. So just jump right after and you'll be able to get out of spawn a bit faster by like a second or so. Speaking of getting out of spawn faster, now that I showed the melee animation cancel, is the wall bounce. So say I'm looking here, I get to use that momentum to get out, and the way that I commonly use it on this map, which is why I picked this map specifically, is in a situation where they're capping point B. It's something where you want to get out faster. You can go this way and it's pretty predictable, but if you go this way, I messed that up. Yeah, you basically use that to push yourself out faster. Obviously with a higher cooldown so that I can demonstrate this. The next one I wrote is butt jumping. Say there's a widow up there, and there generally is. If you are to jump towards them, and it's a little obscure to show when you're not in third person, if you were to jump up here, your head is exposed when you're facing them versus if your ass is exposed, thus the term butt jump. And it's a little hard, and you have to be a bit familiar with knowing what length or what height you have to be pointing in order to make it there, so I tend to not do it if I don't have to. But in niche cases, it does make this slight difference, and Now with Widow being as hard as she is to kill, it's something, or at least in this meta, it's something that is worth practicing, just so that you're getting the most efficiency out of that engagement. So you jump up, you're up here, that's regular, or you can jump and jump, turn backwards, and still try and get the melee cancel in time. It requires a bit of flicking, and if you don't have a if you have a low sensitivity, it'll kill your wrist. But yeah, it is easy to screw up that way. I don't do it a ton, which is why it's pretty low on the list. But otherwise, what's the next one? Yeah, wall bouncing. We already went over that. It's just basically if you wanted to get through interesting angles without getting shot. So it's pretty easy for, say I wanted to jump on that spray there. If I was exposed, it's a lot easier for me to take damage as I'm getting there. However, if I was to take, say, like, I'm obscure now, but I know I still want to get there. Say, let's say here. I'm not exposed to the monkey spray, but if I showed that, oh, it totally didn't work. I don't know. It's just a way for you to push off it in a way. A lot of it does rely on like your aerial drifting, and it should be earlier on into the jump because you do carry that momentum. It's useful for hallways and stuff like that if you wanted to get around here or around this corner. It's a hallway is probably a better example. If I wanted to get around to this side, I could just jump on and just pinball around. But overall, that's pretty much it in terms of Winston jump techniques. There's the short jump, which is essential. If you're not short jumping, you have no control of your jumps. When you're trying to juggle or something like that, with Primal Rage, short jumping is so much for controlling space. You don't want to be overshooting. And in the same way that short jumping is done by holding backwards as you move into your jump, moving forwards will send you a bit farther than just a regular no input jump. Ever so slightly, I think. So yeah, always be sure to just spam spacebar as you're about to land, or you'll get the timing down so you don't have to. Yeah, it's just general stuff that you're able to make it around. And I'm rambling.